Good morning, everyone. It's Denise Brown. I have an organization called the Caregiving Years Training Academy, and I also host a community that's called caringourway.com. I'm grateful for those of you who have joined us live to learn about our pilot program, and I appreciate those of you who are watching the archive. The goal today is to give you an overview of the program to help you decide if it's a good fit for you. We want to be a resource for you, so feel free to reach out with other questions you might have. I'm going to go through a presentation that I think will take about 15 minutes, and then we're going to open it up to any questions that you might have, because we want to make sure that we're giving you good information to help you make a good decision about participating. Okay, here we go. So our pilot program is called the Dementia Care Family Support Pilot Program. Okay, I'm going to hold off on saying something about that for just a minute. Okay, so we have certified caregiving consultants who have a lived experience as a family caregiver, who have completed 100 hours of training that I've developed. So they take their learned experience, complement it with the specialized comprehensive training that I've developed, and then they support family caregivers and former family caregivers. What we're doing is taking our certified caregiving consultants, adding in a technology solution, and then supporting you with 5 free coaching sessions so that you resolve 3 care challenges. The goal is, after the end of the 5 sessions, you feel like I have 3 care plans for 3 care challenges. You determine which challenges you'd like to resolve. You're the one who knows what are your greatest challenges. We also want you to feel like you have a choice about who you work with. So we have 5 different certified caregiving consultants, and one of them is with us today, and Kim's here. So Kim, tell us a little bit about your background and why it was important for you to be a part of this pilot program.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I am Kim Shaw Mack, and as Denise said, I'm a certified caregiving consultant. Pretty much being with my experience being a caregiver, I cared for my mother who was diagnosed with breast cancer. Excuse me. And I also care for family members who struggle with mental health illnesses. And pretty much going through the certification program, um, I just realized just how passionate I wanted to be as far as any sort of help or advocacy when it comes to caregivers. And when I heard that Denise was, being a part of this program for dementia care, I just felt like, okay, how can I be a part of it? What can I do to help? And basically learned about the program, and I'm really excited for uh, what I'm hoping will be just a great, eventually a great tool to help caregivers who um, are supporting family members who are dealing with dementia. Also have dealt with that with my husband on his side, having to just go through that care. So it's a personal passion. I think anyone in this helping field would have some sort of personal passion behind why we do what we do, but also just to kind of be on the ground floor of this program. I'm really excited to be able to help and support in any way that I can.
And part of the commitment that CCCs like Kim have made is to specialize training about this pilot program. So they've already completed training, and then there's additional training that they are completing in order to really ensure that they're delivering the best experience for our participants in the pilot program. That's what's most important to us. And the reason that we're doing this as a pilot is because we have a partner called Plans4Care. It is a startup led by 3 researchers, and the researcher who's leading it is Eric, who is a professor at Brown University. They have this database of strategies that can resolve care challenges. The consultants will have access to this database and will be using it when they suggest care plans for you. In addition, Plans4Care has an everyday function scale. What that means is when you participate in the pilot program during your first session, you're going to complete this scale with your CCC. The CCC is going to ask you questions about what you believe your caree can do on an everyday functional level. And the reason we do this first is because based on where your caree lands on the scale, care plans then are created based on your caree's abilities. We're really personalizing this support for you, your caree, and your situation. In addition, we're going to suggest care plans based on the database of interventions, which are evidence-based. You tell us, though, if that's going to work. And then if you say, I don't know if that's going to work, we say, okay, let's figure out what will work. Let's refine, tweak, adjust. It's most important that it works for you. And the pilot program then is around determining how effective is it to match coaching and technology in helping you resolve 3 care challenges. Here's what's included in the pilot program. So it's 5 sessions that are free to you. We're going to measure outcomes. And what that means is you will complete pre and post assessments. We want to get an idea of where you are and then where you go with us because of the support. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. What you tell us we need to improve, we'll implement in our work as consultants. The outcomes then that we create because of this pilot program we'll share to improve other programs. We don't want this to be something that only improves our work. We want this to be something that improves everyone's work. Your feedback is so important in terms of elevating the support that you receive and other family caregivers receive. That's the goal. We want to share outcomes with other programs and at conferences. So let's take a little closer look at the process. So when you say, yes, I want to be a part of this, you'll complete an assessment. The assessment takes around 20 minutes. You can do it in one setting, one sitting. So if you have 20 minutes, you'll complete it at once. Or if you feel like, I don't know if I can have 20 minutes, we broke it out into 2 parts. And it's about 10 minutes per part. There's an agreement, and the agreement just spells out that this is free to you. You are the best judge of what works for you. We're just giving you suggestions. You could say yes or no to any of the suggestions. And then we just also like you to reflect on your 3 top care challenges. On Thursday, we did a series of workshops for nurses and social workers. And we had one attendee who's new to working with family caregivers, and her boss suggested that she join us at the workshop. She also is a family caregiver. And she came up after the workshop to tell me a little bit about her situation. And I suggested that she enroll in the pilot program. And she said, you know what I want? I want 48 hours without anyone needing me. I said, that's your top care challenge. That's what you bring. into the conversation with your consultant to figure out, how do I make that happen? Because the challenge is you never get a break. She wants 48 hours. She has figured 48 hours is what she needs to feel like, oh, okay, I'm okay. That's a care challenge. We often think it's about behaviors, but it really can be about a situation or experience or your own care needs. That's a care challenge. It's about what challenges you. That's what we want to know, and that's what we want to support you around. As we've been working with Plans4Care, they've been sharing, for instance, the scale and a couple other tools that are part of the program that we'll access. And we've been giving them feedback that they've already implemented to make the experience better for you. We really are focused on what is this perspective that can best help the family caregiver. So we're keeping your perspective in mind. And that's why our lived experience is so important. Because of our lived experience, we understand, for instance, if a tool just isn't realistic or practical. So we've been giving feedback to the researchers who have then modified and adapted, for instance, the function scale. They made some changes in that based on our recommendations. Okay, so you've signed up, and then you're going to join your consultant for your first session. I also want to mention too that you pick which consultant you want to work with. I think that's important too. You aren't assigned a consultant. You get to pick a consultant. So we have a page that lists the consultants with their bios. When you join your consultant for the first session, it's going to be about 40 minutes, and you're going to meet via Zoom because you're going to complete the function scale. And the consultant is actually going to share a screen with you and go through a series of questions with you. And your best insight is the best answer. You know your caree best. We're just going to ask you questions based on your expertise, and you're an expert in your caree. And then you're going to tell us the 3 care challenges. At the end of that first session, your consultant is going to schedule your next session with you. And after that first session ends and you've shared your top care challenge, before your next session, the consultant is going to start creating a care plan for you. And that care plan then is shared at the second session. You're going to share an update with your consultant, what happened between sessions, because we know a lot can happen from minute to minute, much less from session to session. So we always want you to share an update about what's happening, how you're doing, and if your care challenges have changed. During the second session, there's a presentation of the care plan, and then you have a conversation about that care plan. And then the conversation is all about getting to that agreement of, okay, we've made adjustments. We've tweaked this, it'll work for me. It has to work for you. And then you'll schedule your third session after the second session. And then again, it's about reviewing where you are, reviewing the care plan for the first challenge, checking in to make sure that care plan is working, and then you share the next care challenge you want to work on. If it's the same 3 care challenges, your consultant might then present a care plan for the second challenge you'd like to resolve. And then again, you're going to schedule the next session before you close the third session. And you can see it's just this ongoing process. And the goal at the end of the 5 sessions is that you have 3 care plans that work for you. Okay. During the last session, you'll review the care plans and then make any adjustments that are appropriate. The consultant will remind you to complete the post-program assessment, and then the consultant will share if you'd like to continue working, what kind of programs and services and fees are available. Again, there's no cost to participate during the pilot, and that's when you receive the 5 coaching sessions. If you'd like to continue working with your consultant, the consultant will share what the fees and options are for you. You could work with your consultant twice a year just to check to see where your caree is falling on that function scale, and then address a care challenge that's new. We have a private group in our community, Caring Our Way, for the pilot program. When you join that private group, you'll see instructions around next steps. I wanted the process to feel like a flow for you, and so I hope it flows. That was the goal. As you complete, for instance, the assessment, you'll receive an email with your assessment answers and then a prompt to review and sign the participant agreement. After you review and sign the participant agreement, you receive another email that says, now choose your consultant and schedule your first session. Because it's a pilot program, we really want to look at when does it start and when does it end. And the deadline to enroll is February 10th. We'd love to have everybody enrolled by February 10th. You can enroll February 10th and then pick the schedule for your first session with your consultant. You don't have to have your first session scheduled, for instance, before February 10th. You just have to enroll in the program, which means you complete the assessment, sign your agreement, and then you'll choose your consultant and schedule your first session. Let me show you what it looks like when you join our private group. Okay. I'm a member of the private group. Kim's a member of the private group, as well as our other consultants. And one of the researchers is a member of the private group. So you can reach out to us when you have questions or just need a little support. So when you join the private group, you land on this page. And the page just gives you an overview of what you can expect through the pilot program. You can connect with the CCCs through the community as well. And then it gives you next steps. So complete your assessment. And again, you can complete the full assessment in one sitting, or if time feels like, oh, it's tight, you can complete it in two. You can review the participant agreement before you have to sign it. So you can review it. It's very standard. It just says it's free to you, you choose. And then once you complete the assessment, then you're directed to complete the participant agreement, and you sign the agreement, and then you get a copy of that. One of the things that I think is nice, that is important to me, is you don't just complete an assessment without seeing your answers to the assessment. This is also a timestamp for you. Let's say you enrolled today and you complete the assessment today. You now have an insight into how you are on February 1st, 2025. And then you receive answers to the post so you can see what has changed for you. And if you like some of the questions we ask during the assessment, you could use those questions, for instance, in a journal you keep. It doesn't have to be every day that you reflect on the questions, but maybe once in a while you think, you know what? Those assessment questions were helpful. You have an email of the questions and your answers that you can then go back to and say, okay, I'm going to answer this question today in my journal. And then you have a copy of the participant agreement as well. And then once you complete the participant agreement, you're prompted to pick your consultant. And there's a page you go to where you can see the bios for each of the consultants who are participating. You select your consultant and then you schedule your first session. And again, the first session is about 40 minutes, and you're going to complete your caree's everyday function scale, and you're going to talk about your 3 care challenges. Okay. And then the group is a resource for you. Share an introduction, get to know the other participants. What questions might you have? You are welcome to ask questions in the chat room. If you feel comfortable, you're also welcome to unmute and ask. And as you think about questions, I'll just check in with Kim. What did I miss?
I don't think you missed anything, Denise. I feel like you covered pretty much the bulk of the program, and guess showing. I appreciate that you showed how it looks on the Carrying Your Way. Um, Sorry, I am drawing a blank. I
Okay.
also have not had my coffee this morning, so
That's okay. But
so I
it's
might be struggling a little bit
okay. But if there was a big hole, you would have said, Denise, you skipped over this
for
huge
sure.
hole that we have to go back to. Yes. And I'll also mention, we want to know what the experience of going through our assessments is like. So you tell us about everything you experienced in the pilot program, because it's important that you have a say in whether or not this assessment was helpful. We want to know. We want to know. How does this sound to you guys? Okay, I think I'm going to ask for a little bit of clarification about one of the questions. Do we have to talk about in-person care only? Okay, so, and then we have a CNA who cares for people with different medical situations. This is for family caregivers. If you are a CNA and caring for a family member, this would be a program for you, but it's for family caregivers. So just in your work as a CNA, this wouldn't be the right program for you yet. However, stay tuned. I think Plans4Care might be interested in thinking through how does this look, for instance, in home care and in skilled nursing. Right now, though, it's just for family members providing care. If you are a CNA who also cares for a family member, this would be appropriate for you because you're a family caregiver. But as a professional providing care, this wouldn't be the right program for you right now. Okay, so yes, the question is, I'm a family caregiver in person, but also at a distance. And yes, you are absolutely appropriate. Thank you for that question. It's not just for family caregivers who reside with a caree, for instance, or live near a caree. We have structured it so that it's also supportive if you are caring from a distance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. That's a great question. Yes. Okay, so we're getting like people are, yes, yes. Yeah. People are interested and we've gotten commitment. So thank you guys for that. Okay. Okay, so here's another great question, which really speaks to the complexity within a caregiving situation. My mother is the caregiver for my father. I'm trying to figure out my role as a caregiver for both of them from a distance. Is this for her or could it be for me too? It could be for both of you, and you could meet separately with consultants. You could encourage your mom to enroll for her, and then we'd love for you to enroll for you. That's a great question because it's appropriate for both of you. And because you're both coming at caregiving from a little bit of a different perspective, you're going to perhaps have different care challenges, which is why I think it would be great for you both to enroll. so that the support is personalized for your care challenges. Yeah, thank you for that. You guys are asking great questions. I'm so glad we're doing this. So glad we're doing this. Okay, and then one other thing. Oh, okay, here's another great question. Yeah, okay, so my dad is in a memory care facility. My sister lives in town and sees him daily. My brothers and I live out of state, but visit often and support sister fully. Will I benefit from this program? Yes. And again, you could also share it with your sister. Not for you to complete the program together. It's about completing the program separately so that you each receive personalized support for where you are right now. And we are focused on dementia care. However, we know that care challenges show up in all caregiving experiences. And if you feel like you'd like to try this, even though your caree does not have a dementia diagnosis, please consider this. The story I told you about the young woman caring for her father who joined our workshop on Thursday is caring for her father who had a stroke. And I said, still enroll. And there's no certification that you receive at the end of the program. If helpful, we'd be happy to give you a certificate that indicates you've completed our pilot program. This is not necessarily a certification program. And the reason it isn't is because you don't have required training to complete and you don't have a required exam to complete. If helpful, though, if you'd like a certificate that indicates you've completed our dementia care pilot program to resolve 3 care challenges, we can provide you with a certificate that you completed the program. And I appreciate that you guys are sharing your specific situations because it's important for us that we have a program that works regardless of your specific situation. That's really what we're looking to do. That's why we've personalized the technology with coaching so that we can personalize it for all your situations. And I just want to give a minute for everybody to think of any other questions you might have. And while you do that, I'm going to get our link for you to join our private group. Okay, so I'm going to post the link to our private group in the chat room. So click the link. Some of you are already members of Caring Our Way. You don't have to create your free account if you've already created it. Now what you'll do is just actually join the private group. If you haven't created a free account yet, that will be the first step. You'll actually be prompted to create your free account, and then that'll move you into our private group. And I can hear some little bells going off, which is my indication that there's activity on Caring Our Way, which means you guys have joined the private group. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I'll share the archive with everybody, even if you've attended live. I'll share the archive with you guys, and then I'll include the link to join the private group as well. So if you don't have a chance to click that link now, I'll follow up with you tomorrow so you can join. Yeah, and Kim had posted in the chat room that these are great questions. These are great questions, aren't they, Kim? It's so helpful for us.
I was going to say absolutely. And even again, for those who aren't here live but will watch the recording, they could have the same question. So I really do appreciate everyone for, uh, sharing their situation, their specific situation. Like you said, Denise, no caregiving journey is the same. There's um, our carees might have a similar diagnosis, but the caregiving journey is always individual and different. And so I really do appreciate everyone just kind of being open and sharing and also just asking these questions.
Yeah, and I think what's common is that we all have challenges, right? The challenges don't show up the same way, but we're all challenged by this. Okay, and Sarah's asking another great question, and that is, she's figuring out her role. Is this program for someone just starting the caregiving journey, or better for someone in the middle? My three care needs could be around figuring it out and getting started. And yes, it's for you too. And so helpful for you to hear this too, because when you are figuring it out, you need just as much support as when you're in the middle of it. And I think it's helpful for us to remember that we don't want you to figure it out alone, wherever you are in your experience. We want you to figure it out with support. So wherever you are, if you're new, if you're entrenched, if you've been in a caregiving situation for a long time, there's still care challenges that are going to pop up. There's a concept that I developed which stages the caregiving experience, and there's 6 stages. So Sarah, what you've effectively described is the freshman stage. It also could be the expectant stage, depending on what's going on. Expectant, freshman, and then there's the entrenched stage. And then there's the pragmatic stage, the transitioning, and the Godspeed. And it's hard to be in each stage. Each stage has their own challenge. And it's helpful for us to connect with you regardless of where you are in the experience. And then Andrea is asking about the end, which is in transition or after death. And we actually have other programs in our community carrying our way to support you after caregiving ends. So we have a caregiving support section on Caring Our Way, and then we have an after caregiving ends section. So look at that after caregiving ends section for support. In this pilot program, it's really around care challenges while your caree is receiving care. And again, it's not necessarily around where the care happens. It could be in your home, it could be in your caree's home, or it could be in a facility. It's that challenges are happening because of caregiving. You can send a direct message to me through Caring Our Way if you have any questions. People direct message me regularly. I just had a conversation with someone that's a member of our community this morning. I'll try to answer as quickly as I can. The other piece of it is we are going to have interns in our private group only to make sure that they are aware of any questions that you might have so they can call my attention to it. So our interns will start being a part of the private group just to make sure there's another level of support for you if you are asking questions or have questions about the process. We want you to feel like not only do you have support around enrolling, you have support within the actual pilot with a certified caregiving consultant, helping you resolve 3 care challenges. We want this experience to be positive for you from every angle. Okay, I think I'm going to close this for today. Again, I'll send a link to the archive tomorrow morning. I'll include a link to our private group. And then reach out if you have any questions. And I'm so grateful to you guys for being here on a Saturday morning, asking great questions and being just all in on enrolling. We are so grateful to you. We really are. We really are. Kim, thanks for being here today. Okay, so I think I'm going to close us. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks everybody for being here. We're looking forward to really supporting you during our pilot program. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.